mat. We're going to start out lying flat on our back with our feet together, knees out wide, reclined butterfly pose. So join me here. And we're going to work on just sitting with our breath for a moment. If this stretch is too deep for you, you can put pillows or your blocks under your knees. So bring your feet to touch and then recline all the way back on your back. Like I said, if this is too deep, if you stick something underneath here, that's going to help with support. If you're trying to get your inner thighs really nice and open, just let your knees flay out. Open like a book. The further your feet are from you, the easier the pose will be. The closer they are, the deeper the stretch. As you're getting into this posture, go ahead and bring your left hand over your heart and rest your right hand on your low belly. Begin to close your eyes and just get comfortable in the setting we're building here. Get comfortable in your energy. We're all miles and miles apart from each other, but we are here doing yoga, building the same energy and making space together, even though we're not in the same room. So begin to build that here. As your eyes are closed, start to scan the body and notice if you feel any tension anywhere. Are you clenching the jaw? Are you pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth or your back of your teeth? Allow that to all melt away. Every breath you take in, I want you to notice your belly rising, your chest rising. Every exhale you take out, notice the body sinking into the floor, the muscles relaxing, the eyes resting in your sockets. And continue to find this space, letting go of anything that you've gone through today, not worrying about what you have to go through later or tomorrow. We get present, we get relaxed, we find calmness in the space we're in. Notice if your mind is going a mile a minute, our monkey minds tend to go everywhere. Anchor in towards your breath. Anchor in towards your hands being on your low belly and on your chest, feeling your breath ebbing and flowing naturally out of the body. Your body's relaxing. Notice your knees slowly sinking a little close to the floor, a little closer, even if it's just a millimeter. I want you to find 2 more breaths here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose with the lips sealed. Feel the belly expand, feel the chest expand, the lungs make space. All the way to the top. Then open your mouth, exhale, release, let go. Feel everything push into the floor. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in. And big exhale out, release. Bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and slowly push your legs together, closed like a book. Bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat and let your knees fall in for broken bridge pose. Just giving a little opposition in the pose you were just in. Your knees are together, feet are out wide. Staying here for a moment. And then windshield wiper the legs one at a time, left to right. Getting a little movement in the joints and the hips. Good. Find stillness. Bring your feet back in together. Slowly begin to roll yourself up to a seated position. And again, let your knees fall out, big toes, or feet to big, bottoms of feet to touch. Sitting up nice and tall here. Your feet are together. You can grab the tops of your feet. If you want, again, you can put blocks or pillows underneath the knees if you need a little support. We're going to work on pulling ourselves forward, giving yourselves a little inner thigh stretch. So you can stay right here and start to pull yourself forward. A big tendency we all tend to do is pulling our chest and letting ourselves kind of curl forward because we're trying to reach for our head toward our toes. That's a big no-no. All you're going to do is strain your neck. So I want you to think of sitting up tall first, pulling yourself, think of your chest coming forward first, pulling your chest towards your feet. We're just getting started, so there's no reason to go too deep yet. If you're very flexible, continue to pull forward. The only time your head should drop is if you can get yourself all the way down and your head meets towards the mat and your chest is on your feet. Other than that, think of rolling the shoulders down and back and pull your chest down. Every time you inhale, maybe come up slightly. Every exhale, you make space and pull a little deeper. If you're trying to get those thighs closer to the mat, you can take your elbows and press into the inner thighs as you pull down. Again, keeping the back flat. I want you all to become present in your body and in tune. Connect body and mind. And settle in. This pose can be as intense as you want or as light as you want. The beauty of yoga is you can find your edge, you can find your layer, and take yourself where you want to be. You can listen to your body and know where you want to be for that particular class or day. Go ahead and sit up one more time. Lift all the way up if you're down. And again, on the exhale, pull yourself down. Chest comes first. See if you can go as deep as you've gone yet. Good. Bring yourself up on your next inhale. Take your legs out in front of you and just start to wiggle them out. Your hands can be behind you for support. Then straddle your legs open. Flex your feet. Keeping your feet flexed in these stretches really helps protect your joints, your knees, your hips. Working here, you're welcome to have a blanket or a pillow or anything if you'd like here. We're going to start to walk our hands forward. Now again, this is where you want to keep the back straight. We're not trying to get our head towards the floor and strain the neck. Think of the back long and tall. Think of the tailbone curling under. Navel is into spine, making these active stretches. We're activating the body. We're getting the muscles open and loose. And continue to walk yourself forward. Now, maybe you only go to here. That's completely fine. As long as you're getting the stretch, keep your toes flexed. Try and roll your pinky toes toward the back of the room as you come forward. It doesn't matter how far down you're going. It matters that you're feeling a stretch, that you're keeping the back straight. We're working on posture, keeping alignment in the spine, and working our way through our hips to open nice and wide. We're going to get into some nice hip openers along with some back bends. And again, like I said earlier, I will always give options. So this is where you could put a pillow if you wanted something to rest on. If you can continue to go down, keep working yourself. And this is the same thing we did before. Take a breath in, maybe come up slightly. On the exhale, slowly go a little deeper. Keeping your toes flexed towards your face. We're working through deep stretch and flexibility in this. And see if we can get to our lowest layer as close as you can to the floor. Maybe your chest meets, maybe your belly meets. And again, maybe it does not, and you're feeling that inner stretch wherever you are. That's great. This is a great hip opener, inner thigh opener. Take one more breath here. Go a little deeper when you hit that exhale. See your depth. Once you meet that next exhale, inhale, walk yourself up. Take your time. Big breath in. This time on your exhale, work your right hand towards your right toes. This is where you can use a strap if you'd like. So you could use a strap to wrap around your foot, or you can slightly bend that knee and reach for the toes. Or maybe you have the flexibility to start walking yourself all the way down. Now, if you notice when we're pulling ourselves down, I'm keeping my right side on the right thigh. My right hand's reaching for the big toe. Again, we're keeping that right foot flexed. The left hand can be down, or you can bring it up, or you can even reach overhead for those toes. Gaze can go up past your bicep. This is your full deep stretch. But again, maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. Just work your way, but think of your right side of your body going down toward the right thigh. Always good to find your depth and layer. Breathing here. Flexibility and stretching is all about breath. Every time you're breathing in through the nose, you're bringing that oxygen into your bloodstream. Bloodstream's going through all your muscles, throughout the body. We're opening, we're rejuvenating, we're making space. We're bringing in the fresh, the new. On the exhales, we're getting rid of the stale and the old. Take one more breath here. Maybe you come up just slightly. And on that exhale, come all the way down a little deeper. Find that edge. And on your next inhale, slowly work yourself back up. Moving into the other side. Again, you can use your strap if you need to or want to. Your hand can be to your ankle, your shin. But think of your left side coming to the thigh. You can use your elbow for support. You can bring your hand to the inner thigh. Reach for those toes. Again, this hand can be up. You can reach all the way over. Feel that side body stretch. Feel that inner thigh stretch. So many layers, so many options. Find yours. And stay there and work through it. Work through breath. Big thing I notice students doing or yogis doing is they're always crunching their face like it hurts. So all you're doing is moving tension from one space to another. We don't want to do that. So remember to relax your face, relax your jaw. Don't hold tension somewhere else when you're releasing in other places. Instead, breathe and concentrate. Get present in your body. Feel these openings slowly happen. Stay where you are. Take a breath in. Maybe you come up slightly. And on your exhale, you go a little deeper. Find your layer. No rush. We're working slowly through these. Getting warmed up. Good. On your next inhale, come up through center. And on your exhale, bring your hands down. You can move your strap to the side for the moment. Bring your feet together. And then just rock left to right with your knees. Keep your hands behind you for support. And the same thing, you can bring your hands out to the outer edge or your feet out to the outer edges and then broken bridge, rock the knees in. Getting a little movement. Good. Finding stillness. Come all the way through and come up to all fours. Some of people's favorite stretches, it's a love-hate relationship. We're going to do a nice deep toe stretch. So this stretch can be as intense as you want it, or it can be as light as you want it. If you have plantar fasciitis, if you have circulatory problems, anything like that, or if you're trying to keep from having any of those issues, this is a great stretch. You're going to keep your toes tucked under you. Your hips come back to your heels. Hands are out in front. If you have knee problems, put a blanket underneath your knees for a little support. This is layer one. This might be good enough. You might get plenty of intensity here. If you want more, come up and sit back and really feel the weight of the body go onto those feet. Your balls of your feet are down, toes are tucked. If you want to stay up, but it's too intense, put a block or a pillow underneath. That's going to take some of that pressure off, you'll notice. So a couple options there. And we're going to be here for a few breaths. I'm just going to face towards you, so make sure your toes are staying tucked. And then inhale your arms out. We'll take our mind off our toes and do a little bit of stretching with the arms. Big breath. And on the exhale, right arm comes underneath the left, palms come to meet, eagle arms. If this is too much and you can't reach your palm to palm, go back of the palm to one another. Or you can grab opposite shoulders and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Try and walk your hands back to reach your shoulder blades or as close as you can. Wherever you are, try and bring your elbows in alignment with the shoulders. So take note of where my elbows are. We're not down here. We're up, up, up. You're gonna feel that nice stretch and opening between the shoulder blades. If you want a little more and you want a little back bend here, start to just lean back. Reach the hands to the back of the room. Push the belly forward and open up the chest. Breathe. Come back through center. Inhale, open up. And exhale, come bring your hands down. Your toes should be on fire. If they're not, try and find a deeper layer. Bring your hands down, come to all fours, slowly untuck those toes. Tap the tops of the feet. Good. Feel that nice little rush of blood go through your toes. Do we feel that? Nice little opener for the ankles is coming, and an opposite stretch on the toes. So keep your tops of your feet here. Maybe you stay here and this is your layer, sit your hips back. If you want more, walk your hands behind you. This is a good one as well. If you want even more, lift your knees up. You'll get some snap, crackle, pops maybe out of your toes, out of your ankles, tops of the feet are down. And then if you want to try balancing here, you can bring your hands to the tops of the knees. Looking straight ahead, you can concentrate on something that's not moving. And again, if you want more, bring your hands up or at heart center. Pull your navel into your spine, try and balance. And when you feel good and ready, bring your hands back down. That's another intense ankle and foot stretch. Bring your knees down slowly. Push yourself up. Bring yourself to all fours and just kind of circle out the ankles. Good. A little crack here, a little pop there. And guess what? We get to do it all over again. So tuck those toes back under. Find your layer. Maybe you try and go a little deeper this time now that the toes are open and the feet are getting open. So you can sit here. You can bring yourself up. Or you can sit on that block or pillow. Whatever works for you. Toe stretch. Sitting up nice and tall or leaning forward. If you're sitting up, we're going to work on the arms. So same thing, just opposite side. Inhale the arms up. On the exhale, this time the left arm comes underneath the right. Wrap all the way around for eagle arms. So your palms are on top of one another. Again, if this is too deep, bring the backs of the palms instead. Or grab opposite shoulders. Try and walk your hands back to grab to your shoulder blades or as far as you can. Wherever you are, bring your elbows up in alignment with your shoulders. Your gaze can be on your forearms. Just showing you from both sides. You kind of see where we are. Notice where my elbows are, not down here, but up. If you want to do a nice little back bend, lean on back. Reach your hands toward the back of the room. Inhale, come back through center. Take your time here. Unravel the arms, open up, give yourself a nice stretch back. And are we ready for that toe release? I'm sure you are. Bring your hands down to start. Untuck the toes, come to all fours. Slowly tap the tops of the feet. You're getting rid of all that staleness in your feet, letting the blood rush down. So for a moment, we're blocking the blood flow, and then we let everything rush through that venous system. All right, we're gonna go back again. Bring hips to heels. Maybe you stay here for that stretch. For a little more, come up. Or bring your hands back. Option for knees up. Come here. Find your balance, concentrate, breathe. If you feel a little unsteady, just ignite the abs, squeeze your legs together. Make it an active pose. You can bring your arms up or to heart center. When you feel ready, go ahead and release down. Support yourself with your hands. Come forward. Same thing, roll out the feet, the ankles. We're gonna do another balance pose. Now that our toes are warmed up,
Tuck your toes once more. And you're gonna bring your knees up this time. You're balancing on the balls of your feet. Now, if you're having a struggle with your balance, you can bring a block or a pillow or books next to you to help you, staying up tall. But notice my heels are up, my hips, my glutes are sitting on my heels. And sit up nice and tall. Little toe stand with both feet. If you want to try for hands up, find your balance here. Dig your toe mounds into your mat. If you fall out, that's perfectly fine. Just pop back in. Your toes are digging in. That's going to help you balance. You can bring your arms out to the side if you like. You can bring them overhead. Squeeze your thighs together. Good. Take one more breath here. Good. On your exhale, bring yourself back down. Untuck the toes. Tap the tops of the feet. Doing wonderful. All right. Moving right along. Tuck your toes in. Push your hips high. We're going to go into our first down dog. Now, I always share this. Some people struggle with down dog and making sure they've got a nice space between their feet and hands. So anytime you're in down dog, if your hands are underneath the shoulders and your hips are stacked over your knees, simply tuck the toes, press the hips up and back. Without moving your hands or feet, you're always going to find that perfect little down dog space. Now your knees can be bent if you'd like, or you can straighten them and try and get those heels down to the mat. Start to feel an opening in the back of the legs. Notice your palms are nice and wide. If you have any wrist issues or pain, if you use blocks under your hands, that's going to help take pressure off. If you don't have blocks, think of digging your finger mounds, the tips of your fingers into the mat and almost doming up the center of your palms. Let your head hang heavy. Try and press weight into your hand between your thumb and your pointer finger. Then press your chest back towards your thighs. Hips are pressing high. Heels are pressing down. And breathe. Maybe you pedal out one heel, getting one leg down, then the other, feeling that nice opening. Breathing. Good. Make sure your feet are about hips width distance apart. Hands are about shoulder width distance. Take your left hand and reach for your right ankle. So we're doing opposite hand to ankle. If that's not feasible, you can go for your knee or your hip. Working on a little balance here. Find a layer. So left hand, right foot. Breathe. Good, bring your left hand back. Same thing, other side. Right hand goes to the right ankle, foot, knee, hip. Make sure you're pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Your head's hanging heavy, no strain in the neck. Good, bring your right hand back down. On your next inhale, right leg comes high. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Let that right heel come towards the glute. You can bounce that foot a little bit. You can roll out the ankle. Try and keep your shoulders parallel and squared off with the mat as you open the hip. So you're just opening through the hip only. Good, big breath in. On the exhale, lizard pose. Bring your right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're in a lunge right now. Your hands are on the inside. Your knee is up by the right shoulder. Go ahead and drop that back knee down. You can keep your toes tucked if you want, or untucked. And this is somewhere that you can have your blanket underneath your knee. And feel this nice deep stretch. And I'm just going to show you from this front where we are. So my foot's in front, and I've got my shoulder next to my knee. If you want more, you can come down to your forearms. You can bring a pillow here or blocks and lean onto your blocks if you want. So you've got some support, or books or whatever you have. And you can let your head hang. Now what we don't want to do is let our hips go up towards the sky. We want to let gravity pull on them. So notice I'm not trying to go like this. I'm trying to let them fall and let gravity naturally pull. That's going to give you that open. It's going to open your hip flexors on the left leg. And it's also going to open the joint space on your right hip. Breathing here. If you want any more, you can even bring your chest down to the mat. Rest your forehead. Now as we continue to open, take your right hand and press on the inside of the right knee and let the right foot come up on the knife edge side of the foot. So you're just opening that hip even more. Maybe your gaze goes up. Let the right knee fall out. Shoulders are rolling open to the sky. Again, don't try and lift your hips up. Let gravity pull and magnetize them down to the mat. If you want even more and you want to open up your hip flexors, you can use a strap here or a towel, but keep turning towards your right and kick that left foot in and you can grab for it. This is a full expression here. Very deep if you want it. You don't have to take it. Just make sure we're not pressing ourselves up. Let those hips fall. These are just different layers you can get into. But notice my right hand is reaching for the left foot and I'm twisted in towards my right hip. Pull a little deeper wherever you are. And then release with control that left arm down. Bring your palms on the inside of your foot and push yourself up. Bring your hands to frame your front foot now. Straighten your right leg. Flex your right toes. You can tuck your back toes for support if you want. We're just doing a half split. In this half split, you can bring your blocks to either side of you if you need support here. That's a great space to have blocks or books or pillows. If you want to go a little deeper, allow yourself to fold forward. Make sure you're pulling your left hip back, right hip forward, squaring the hips. Maybe you need to move your heel in a little bit towards the midline. This is a layer you can always take into a full split. So if you're working on full splits, you can start to slide your foot away. So you can start to work yourself out. These are all layers you can start to take. If you want, you can put a block underneath your hips. Take your time and breathe. You don't have to go any deeper. You can stay right where you are. Start to build that flexibility or slowly continue to come down. If you're going into full split, untuck the back foot. Pull your right hip back, left hip forward. This is just a space to slowly work into more depth. Take one more breath, whatever space you're in. On that exhale, try and go a little deeper. And on your next breath, if you're in your full split, slowly begin to come out of it. Come through your half split first. Tuck your back toes. And slowly come back to all fours. Onto your four palms and your knees. Once you're stacked up, your elbows, wrists, and shoulders, hips over the knees, tuck the toes, push up, down dog. Good, we've been here before. Feet are hips width distance apart. Palms are shoulder width distance apart. We're not straining through the neck, we're letting the neck hang. We're pressing our chest back towards our thighs. Again, dig the tips of your fingers in and almost dome the palms of your hands. Take pressure off those wrists. Put the pressure between your thumb and your forefinger. And on your next inhale, bring the left leg high. Bend that knee, open the hip, keep the shoulders square to the mat, and just find a little space in the hip. Only go as high as what feels good. You know your body more than anyone, so listen to what it's telling you. Only go to the layer that it wants to go. Good, next inhale, straighten the leg. And on the exhale, come forward, left leg goes on the outside of the left hand. You're in a low lunge. Notice my shoulders by my knee. Again, this is a place you could have blocks if you need a little more height. This is a great space to have your blocks. Keep your back toes tucked. And then drop that back knee down. If you want a blanket under that back right knee, it's a great space for one. You can stay on your palms. You can untuck those toes if you want. You're welcome to bring your block and bring your forearms down if you want to go a little lower. And remember, we're not trying to keep our hips up. We're letting ourselves melt. We're letting that front hip flexor open, letting the head hang. If you want even more, ditch the block, come to your forearms, find your depth. Maybe your forehead comes down. This is where I notice a lot of people as well, like I said, tend to clench their jaw, clench their face, their eyes. Notice if you're doing that, release that. Take every breath in, think of the oxygen you're bringing in, think of it going into your bloodstream. Think of it opening space, releasing muscle. Let joints move. Let gravity pull on you in the best ways. If you want a little more, you can press this knee away like we did before. Come on the knife edge side of that left foot. Maybe you roll open and look to the sky. And again, let those hips melt. You can be on your forearm here, you can be on your palm here, whatever works. And this is where you can find your next layer. Kick that back right leg that's straight towards your hip. Reach back with the left arm. So you're doing opposite hand to arm. This is where you can use a strap and grab a strap around your ankle and pull it in. And this is really where you can let the hips melt. This is a final really deep layer, so only go here if you feel ready. You can be on your palm if you need some more space. So find a space that works. Don't feel intimidated by deeper stretches. Just think of the layer you want to be in, you need to be in. The more you do this, the more you'll be surprised at the way your body will work in these spaces and the ability that you gain. Take one more breath here. Now don't let this foot just slap to the ground. Release it with control. Bring your hands back into your inner thigh. And then take your hands and frame your front foot. Walk your foot into the center. Tuck the back toes if you want and straighten that leg. Again, this is where you can have blocks. And sit up. We're going to do just a half seated split here. So notice my knee is straight. Maybe you're up. Maybe your toes are untucked. Whatever you want to do. Think of your hips being square with one another. So pull that left hip back as the right hip comes forward. And maybe you walk yourself down. Keep your left toes flexed towards your face. That's going to protect the knee and the joints. Pull the right hip forward. Pull the left hip back. Chest is melting down toward the knee and thigh and shin. We did all this on the other side, so you can do the same thing if you'd like more. Start working into your splits. Again, this is only if it's a layer you want to go to. Slowly pushing your heel away. If you want help, put a block underneath your hip and work that way. If you don't need the block and want to keep going down, continue to melt yourself into your full split. Flex your front toes. Find your layer. Maybe you sit up tall. Maybe you fold forward. Wherever you are, breathe through. Big breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Notice if you're clenching the jaw or the face, release your tension. We release all tension. If you're in a full split, slowly begin to bend that front knee and pull the heel back in. Meet in our half split first. Half splits now take us to all fours. Walk our hands forward. Tuck the toes, push ourselves up, down dog. In this down dog, slowly walk your hands forward, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Feet are shoulder width distance, heads hanging, knees are slightly bent. Find a ragdoll pose. Your head hangs heavy, your hands hang heavy. You can grab opposite elbows and sway left to right if that feels good. Notice that your knees are bent so your torso can lay on your thighs. So the more you bend, the closer you can get. This is going to give you traction in the spine. It's really going to help your spine. So let the head hang. You don't want to try and lift your neck. That's just going to cause strain. If you want even more traction, clasp your hands. Place them on the base of your head, the skull, and just let your hands hang heavy with your head. Maybe wavering left to right. Maybe turning your head yes and no, up and down. If you'd like to open up the shoulders from here, if you want to open up the shoulders, clasp your hands behind the low back, then allow them to fall over the back of the neck. Let your head hang. If you want, you can start to straighten your legs a little more at a time. Feel the back of the legs open. Release your hands to the ground. Moving into Guerrilla Pose while we're folded forward. Keep your feet hips width distance, so about 2 fists next to each other apart. Starting off with our knees bent, take your palms and slide them under the balls of the feet. So your toes are touching the backs of the wrists. And start to wave or feel a little massage on your hands. Pressing weight back and forth. If you go too far, you will somersault, so tuck and roll if that happens. Tuck your chin to your chest and let it happen. Good, if you want a little more, you can start to straighten your legs. Pull your head towards your shins. Let your elbows bend like gorilla arms. Feel the difference in the pose, whether you're here with your knees bent, or if you begin to straighten. Breathe. And slowly release. Bend your knees slightly if they were straight. Undo your hands. Bring your big toes to touch and slowly begin to roll up at my count for 4. Let your head hang heavy for 3. Arms are dangling for 2. And let the head be the last thing to come up on the 1. Shoulders come up towards the ears and roll down the back. Good. Get yourself situated into mountain pose. Mountain pose, our big toes are touching, palms face forward. Let your shoulders go down and back. You can close your eyes here for a moment. Notice how your body's feeling now compared to when you started. Think of your palms facing forward. Roll your pinkies toward the front of the room as the thumbs roll back. Think of your tailbone tucking under. Pull your navel into your spine. Tuck your chin to your chest just slightly as you flatten your back of your neck. Think of a string pulling your head toward the ceiling. Make yourself as tall as you can as you elongate through the spine. Take each toe mound and separate your toes and dig each one into your mat, finding that grounded stability. I always say mountain pose can be as active as you want it to be. Some of us just sit there and kind of hang out. Let yourself be active. Be tall. Feel strength. Feel stability in the body. Even ignite your glutes. Feel your kneecaps reach toward the ceiling as you ignite your quads. Feel how different this is compared to just standing there slumped. Find that posture. Take one big breath in through your nose, and I want you to feel everything expand. Think of the oxygen coming in, what it's doing for your body. And when you're ready, open your mouth, exhale, let go. Good. If your eyes are closed, gently open them. We're going to move into standing balancing work. So for this, you're welcome to have a strap if you'd like. If you don't know if you're going to need it, you can always just keep it on your neck. It won't be in the way. And then I'll just show you how to use it as we go, should you need it. So we're going to do a couple things on one side to really build strength, and then we'll do it on the other side. So we're going to get your ankles strengthened up and your quads. So take the weight into the left leg first. Moving into tree pose to begin, starting off small, and we're going to build. So take the inside of the left calf and you can put your right foot on there, or you can kickstand it at the ankle. Your hands can be at heart center. If you want more, slide up right beneath the kneecap. And notice that my knee is open, pulling toward the back of the room. Keep your left hip pulling to the left of the room. If you want more, go above the kneecap, come to the inner thigh. Now, if you're here, press your foot to the inner thigh, lift the kneecap, and feel those two push together. Just like we did in mountain, we're really feeling stability here, and we're really wanting to ignite all the muscles. We don't want to be lazy in these poses. Think of your head pulling tall. Hands can press, elbows out. Chin can be slightly tucked. If you want to go back to that ankle stretch, you can take your foot and go to that hip crease of the left hip. And take the top of your foot and place it in there. Knee points down and open through the thigh. Find your layer here. Press your palms together. If you want to grow your branches out, do something fun with the hands. You can even bring them behind the back. Have fun in the postures you're in. Just remember to lift that left knee up. So that's going to keep your quad ignited. Tuck your tailbone. Do all the things. And breathe. If you want to try even more, you can close your eyes if you're working on balance. Have a little bit of fun with it. Good, just one more breath in this. Before you start to come out, I'm going to show you your next layer. We're going to try not to put that right foot down. That's going to build that ankle strength. So wherever you are, meet me with your knee bent. The right knee's bent, foot is flexed, and you've got the knee in alignment with your right hip. This is where you can use your strap if you'd like. Maybe you stay here and this is your layer, and you clasp your hands and bring it to the front of your knee. If you want to go further, work your clasped hands down to the ball of your foot. I'll pull to the side. So this is where you can take your strap. Now maybe you stay here. And then think of pushing your hands and your feet together. So as you push your foot into your hands, maybe you start to straighten that leg. Gaze down, concentrate on the floor. If you fall out of these, just get back in, no big deal. You're allowed to laugh, you're allowed to smile, keep it light. Don't get frustrated, have patience with yourself. If you want a little more, you can bring your nose towards your knee. And concentrate. Squeeze your arms towards your thighs for 4, 3, 2, bend your knee first, relax the foot down, shake it out. That should really ignite those legs, your ankle. You can roll out that foot. Hopefully that gave you a little challenge. Good. So like I said, multiple layers to everything. Start where you need to, work your way up. Maybe you want to challenge yourself on this next side. Right leg is going to take our weight. Think of the right kneecap lifting, ignite the quad, shoulders down and back. The foot's going to go on the inner thigh. There's Duke, he's showing off. So you can bring your foot here. You can keep it kickstand. You can bring it to your inner thigh up here. Just wherever you are, remember, not on the knee joint. We don't want to put pressure on there. No added pressure. Remember, press your foot into the inner thigh. Ignite, palms press. Shoulders down and back. Maybe tuck your chin slightly. Sit up nice and tall. You can close your eyes here. If you want to go to your next layer and get an ankle stretch, top of your foot goes to that crease of the right thigh. You can hold your foot, press the top of your foot into your thigh. Ignite your kneecap. If you're falling, remember squeezing your body together. Ignite the abs, ignite the core. That's going to help you find balance. Shoulders down and back. Maybe you want to close your eyes. Closing your eyes is a true balancing technique. Some days you can do it, some days you can't. And also take note of this side. Do you feel more balanced? Do you feel less balanced? Every day it differs. Maybe you feel the same. Take one more breath here, filling all the way up. And exhale it out. Keep the foot where it is. And we're going to slowly bend so we have a 90-degree angle with our knee, and our foot on the left side is flexed. Again, stay here if you'd like. Clasp your hands to your knee. Press your knee into your hands, sit up tall. If you want to go further, you can take your strap and wrap it to the bottom of your foot, or take that basket grip of clasped hands, come to the ball of your foot. Maybe you stay here. Gaze is down, press your foot into your hands, pull the navel to spine. That's going to help with your balance, trust me. Don't worry about that right leg, it's on fire, this I know. Kick your foot if you'd like. For even more, knee towards your nose, nose toward the knee for 4. Remember to breathe for 3. Come for 2. And on the 1, come out. Ooh, feeling it on that side. Come down, release, roll out your ankle. Hopefully everybody's feeling good. Nice little fun balance work. You can take your strap to the side if you have one. Bring your blocks up. So if you have a block, you might need it for the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna take our arms, inhale up overhead. And on the exhale, bring your hands to your low back and just press your hips forward. Find a slight back bend. Feet are together. Head can start to fall back. And breathe. Anytime we're in back bends, people think that you need to have a spine that's gonna bend. You want mobility in the spine, obviously, but what's really tight is your abdominals, your psoas muscles, and your hip flexors. All those hip flexing muscles, we're technically tight from our knees up to the front of our shin, or our front of our thighs. Come back up, take a breath in, tuck your tailbone, go nice and tall. We're gonna do the same thing, and you're welcome to keep your hands to the low back, that flat part of the back. Or if you want more, cactus the arms, like so. And you can start to exhale, push the hips forward, lean back, find a little more depth. Let the head fall. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment, take a breath. We're gonna do that back bend one last time. And again, remember, we're opening up through the front of the body. So when you elongate the spine, elongate the muscles for back bends, you're making space in the spine. You're making space in your hip flexors. Our psoas are those huge muscles that go from the back of the spine down through the hips. They attach yourself. The big muscle attaches that spine down to your lower half. So inhale the arms up. Same options. On the exhale, you can bring your hands to your low back. You can cactus the arms out. Feel what feels good. Maybe you go a little deeper if your hands are supporting you. Maybe you get a little bend in the knees if you want to go a little deeper. But try and elongate. Find balance. Breathe. Don't forget your breath in back bends. Only go as far as you can still breathe. If you're breathing, you're good. Inhale back up through center. Arms up overhead. And on the exhale, swan dive forward fold with a flat back halfway here. Hold. Now, if you notice when you're in this, your back is flat. Your legs can have a slight bend if you want, or you can straighten them. Pull your shoulders down your spine. Notice your gaze is straight down. You're making a 90-degree L shape with your body. Your hands are back. Hold here. Maybe it's like you're looking over an edge. Slightly lean forward so the weight goes into the balls of the feet and the toes. Your heels are still down. Weight's just shifting. And then exhale, forward fold all the way down. Bring your feet about hips width distance apart. We were here before, Ragdoll Pose. Bend the knees. Let traction happen in the spine after those back bends. Good. Waver left to right. Good. And then slowly bring your hips down and sit on back. Good. Now keep your knees bent. We're gonna keep your feet flat on the mat. Sorry, the dog likes to be part of the whole situation. All right, so we're gonna take ourselves down. We're gonna tuck our chin and we're gonna roll all the way down. Again, have a block near you for this next one as an option. Good. Once you're here, knees are bent. We're gonna come up, clasp our hands, bring your hands by your sides, and then keep your chin tucked to your chest and keep the back of the head on the mat and just press your hips to the sky. Then kind of tuck the shoulder blades under, pressing the hips up. Good. If you want a little more, clasp those hands underneath the low back and pull them towards your ankles, towards your heels. Maybe you walk your ankles and heels in a little bit. So stay here and breathe. You opened your spine a little bit for this, so this should feel good. Press the weight through your heels. And you can unclasp your hands, bring your hips back down. So on the next one, I'm gonna give you some options depending on how far you wanna go. We're gonna do the same thing, keep your feet where they are. And this is just bridge pose. You can bring your hips up. If you want, you can stay exactly where we were, clasp your hands underneath, or you can bring a block to any layer, right under that flat part of your spine and rest it there. If you want to go higher, go to the highest point of your block, or go to the flat part. Don't forget your block has 3 layers. If you'd like to go into wheel pose, bring your hips down to start. Take your hands up like you're high-fiving the ceiling. Keep your knees kind of close together, feet are about hips width distance apart. And simply take your hands back by the ears. Palms are gonna go down underneath the shoulders. So your thumbs are in towards your neck. Pinkies are out. Your palms are down. Elbows are toward the ceiling. So you either stay in bridge or stay in the other pose, and we go up to bridge if you want. Lift your hips first. And then you're simply going to press, keep your elbows squeezing together. Press yourself up. Walk your feet in. Maybe you straighten your legs. You're gonna feel those psoas, those muscles in the front body open. Gazes down or to the back of the room. Take breaths here. Don't forget to breathe in this pose. And don't forget, if you go up, you gotta come down. It can be a little overwhelming. That's why you're welcome to stay on the ground for these. Good. When you're ready, slowly bend your elbows first. Come to the balls of your feet. Tuck your chin. Come back down. Walk your feet out. Bring your hands by your sides. Let your knees fall in for broken bridge. Feet are out toward the edges of the mat. We're going to do that one more time. So go ahead and take one more breath, preparing the body. Remember your options. You can stay here, or you can lift the hips, tuck the shoulders under, clasp the hands. You can use a block here if you want to go a little higher, or if you want to make it more of a resting pose. If you want to go to the full bridge pose, have your hips down first. The back of your low back is down. Remember, hands toward the ceiling. Fingers go down. Tuck the palms underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows in. Squeeze the knees together. On your next inhale, press up on the exhale. And you're in bridge. Or excuse me, wheel. Keep saying bridge. Bridge is one if you're lower down to the ground. Wheel pose as you're up high. And remember, you can start to straighten the legs, press your chest towards the back of the room. Breathe. All these back bends, you always need to be doing your breath. You do not want to pass out in back bends. One more big breath in. And on your exhale, coming down slowly, bend the elbows first, come to the balls of feet, heels come up, tuck the chin, shoulders come down, then walk the feet out. Broken bridge, knees come together, feet to the outer edges of your mat. Now left to right, let your knees go in and out. Wonderful job. Whatever layer you found, many options, many ways to work on the spine and your mobility and your stretching. From here, bring your knees into your chest. Keep the back of your head on the mat. Rock left to right. Give your spine a nice massage. Find stillness here. Keep your knees together. Find a 90-degree bend. Cactus arms out or tear arms out. Let both knees simply fall over to the left. Keep your right shoulder down. Find a nice supine twist. Try and keep the knees stacked. Gaze can be off to the right. If this is too deep, you can always put pillows or blocks underneath your knees. The main thing is you want your shoulders down flat. That's where you're going to get the supine twist. It doesn't matter if your knees touch. It's about keeping the shoulders down. We're going to come back through center here in a second. Try and use your oblique muscles when we do this. Keep your hands teed out. If you need to lift with your legs or with your hands, that's fine. But if not, inhale, bring yourself through center. Building that strength. Exhale, let them fall off to the right. Knees are stacked. Gaze to the left, left shoulder stays down. Flex your toes. On your next inhale, come back through center. Use those oblique muscles. Pull your chin in towards your knees, forehead to the knees. Give yourself a tight little ball. Squeeze yourself in. Maybe rock left to right slightly. Moving into our final resting pose. Exhale yourself out. Legs go long, arms go long by your sides. And find Shavasana. Tuck your chin in slightly to elongate through the neck and spine. You can always put blankets or pillows underneath your knees to flatten the low back if you have back problems. Bending the knees helps. I'll bring you back from your Shavasana. So take some nice deep breaths as you melt into your mat, melt into the floor and get grounded. I want you to take one last scan of your body. Take note of how you're feeling now compared to the beginning of class. Think of the work you put in, the movement you put in, how open you feel in your mind and your body, and the connection you've made between the two. Unclench your jaw, release your tongue, and I'll bring you back in a few minutes. If your mind wanders, anchor to your breath. You're of course welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Or you can start to bring awareness back into your body. Start by rolling out the wrists. Flexing and pointing the toes. Massaging the back of the head left to right, alerting your nerve endings. Maybe your breath gets a little heavier. You can bring your arms up over your head when you're ready. Stretch your arms to the top of the room, your feet to the bottom, pulling your body apart from the center, the midline, stretching, awakening. And when you're ready, bring your chin in to your knees, to a little ball. Scrunch into a tight ball and roll over to your favorite side. Slowly press yourself up. Take your time with your eyes closed to a seated position. Your hands come together at heart center. Bowing your forehead. Finding gratitude in everything we do. Feeling grateful that all of us showed up, shared our energy around the world. Made change in our body, made change in our mind. Bring your thumbs up to third eye center, the space between the eyebrows, a space of intuition and open-mindedness. Open-minded to one another, open-minded to ourselves. Bowing forward. Namaste.